Hello, everybody. Yes, this is probably I can't smell. I can't hear what the song is, but I'm willing to bet yeah, it's probably one of them from a game. Hey B Parker, hey Karen, hey Tea Leaf. How is everybody doing today? This most auspicious of days. Size Thorac, you look so good. Thank you. What's up, y'all? We are just getting started. Well. Damn. Oh, that's crazy. I have your ideal hair, not gonna lie. Well, thank you. Hogging out Camino. Alright, chat. I'll be right back, because as always, I left something undone. And we will be right back to talk about just... Holy shit, what a fucking nightmare of a day. And it might be nothing compared to whatever comes tomorrow. So we'll talk about it. Alright, I'll be right back. Banana Brain's got your HRT dosage up today. Congratulations. Meow low, cheese tortellini. Yeah, I heard about Clavicular getting fucking mogged by some trans girlies. How is that motherfucker not in jail, dude? Like, there's no way he's pulling that much. Oh, we gotta talk about the missing scientists, too. Let's start off with that shit. Because it seems almost nobody in America is really talking about it. When you go and look at it, you have some people, you got Fox News, MSN, but conspicuously missing are the usual, like, CNN, MSNBC, anybody that doesn't, you know, New York Post peddles in conspiracies and shit. MSN, I feel like they are... Ex-FBI official warns missing scientist. Yeah, it's just... What is that, Mother Jones? Curated by Copilot? Are these just... Oh, these are just AI fucking summaries. God, it fucking sucks. B. Parker, you ever think about how Trump is probably the only modern president who said praise Allah, like, period? If you believe the mainstream media narrative and that Barack Hussein Obama isn't secretly the head of the Muslim moon caliphate. Sammy is my name. Hello, love your YouTube videos. Going to be lurking and arting along. Awesome, glad to have you here. Liberty Line. Count of missing or dead UFO researchers and scientists with sensitive American information is now at 6. This is real, by the way. Let me see if I can find... There was one from the Daily Mail. Here we go. 4 days ago. Mystery of scientists dead or missing rises to 8 as 2 more men tied to America's most coveted secrets join the list. The ominous web of U.S. scientists and lab employees who have gone missing or died continues to grow as 2 more cases have been linked to the disturbing trend. Nobody is... Look, I get why nobody's talking about this, but I think in between everything happening between Russia, China, Iran, us, and NATO, in between that and stuff like we were talking about the Israeli biolab that was fucking... The Israeli linked, I'll say, allegedly Israeli biolab that was discovered being run out of fucking LA. No, it wasn't LA. It was, oh fuck, where was it? It was somewhere in California. Cheap Papa Joe, do I have any experience buying games on Temu? I can trick Temu with the new user promo by using a different phone. They had Final Fantasy Tactics for 20 bucks. I wouldn't trust any, like, I feel like every time I bought something on, like, unless it's an emulator handheld, and even then, it might be dicey. NASA scientist Frank Mywald reportedly died on July 4th, 2024 at the age of 61. The cause of death has never been made public. Autopsy was never performed. Mywald had been a prominent researcher at the space agency's Jet Propulsion Lab since 1999 and worked on multiple projects tied to advanced satellite technology that could scan Earth and other planets. 13 months before his death, he would lead researcher on a breakthrough that could help future space missions detect clear signs of life on other worlds, including Jupiter's moon Europa, Saturn's Enceladus, or the dwarf planet Ceres. Another mysterious disappearance has come to light at Los Alamos National Laboratory. This, yeah. One of America's key nuclear research facilities, bringing the total number of unexplained incidents to 8 since July 2024. Las Vegas, yes, 125 AR. It was Las Vegas. Anthony Chavez, former employee at LANL, vanished without a trace on May 4th, 2025, just 7 weeks before a key assistant at the same lab disappeared. Los Alamos Police Department told the Daily Mail that the search for Chavez, 79, is still ongoing. All right, so here we go. Jesus Christ. Missing, dead, missing. And they all have some kind of link or connection to one another. No direct, except for this guy. Jesus Christ. Melissa Casillas, 54, is believed to have security clearance for sensitive information, vanished without a trace under nearly identical circumstances just 2 months later. So this guy, Chavez, was last seen leaving his home in the Denver Steeles neighborhood of Los Alamos. He left his car locked in the driveway, did not take his wallet, keys, or other personal items, which were all found inside. Although friends consider him an avid hiker, investigators noted Chavez was not dressed for a long outdoor walk, did not take a phone with him in case of emergency. If you're an avid hiker, you do that shit. Similar circumstances with Melissa Casillas. Her family said she uncharacteristically decided to work from home on the day of her disappearance, was last spotted miles from their house, walking alone without her wallet, phone, or keys. Former FBI Assistant Director Chris Swecker told Daily Mail that even employees who do not work directly on top secret research could be targeted by foreign spy agencies, as they often have access to the same information nuclear scientists do. Quote, in a classified lab or just high clearance lab, they would basically be in the know of what's going on. The counterintelligence expert's warning came after another member of NASA JPL vanished without a trace last year. Monica Reza, JPL's director of the Materials Processing Group, disappeared just 4 days before Cassius while hiking with friends in California's Angeles National Forest. Along with working in the same high-profile NASA lab as Mywald, Reza has also been directly tied to the disappearance of retired Air Force General William Neal McCasland, who oversaw her work creating a revolutionary new metal for missiles and rocket engines. McCasland, who allegedly possessed top-secret knowledge of nuclear and UFO-related secrets, was last seen on February 27th, 2026, vanishing in nearly the same manner as Chavez and Cassius. The former general left his New Mexico home with only a pair of boots and a handgun, did not take his phone, smart devices, or glasses. Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett said there have been several others throughout the country that have disappeared under suspicious circumstances. I think we ought to be paying attention to it. Yeah, no shit. Since Mywald died in 2024, 3 other scientists, this is different than the ones who went missing, 3 other scientists have died, including another respected researcher tied to NASA and JPL. Astrophysicist Carl Grillmeier, 67, was killed at his home in 2026, February 16th, after being shot on his front porch. Before his murder, the California Institute of Technology researchers' work was heavily supported by NASA and JPL. Grillmeier was reportedly involved with major space telescope missions led by NASA. 2 other respected researchers in Massachusetts have been found dead since December 2025. Nuno Loureiro, who was working on breakthroughs using nuclear fusion as an unlimited energy source, was shot dead in his Brookline home last year. Meanwhile, Jason Thomas, a pharmaceutical researcher testing cancer treatments at Novartis, was found dead in a Wakefield Lake, March 17, 2026, after disappearing without a trace 3 months earlier. Carl Grillmeier. Nope. Canadian astronomer and astrophysicist. Fatally shot. Where? All right, so fatally shot in unincorporated community in Antelope Valley, California. Paramedics pronounced him dead at the scene. He was identified 2 days later by the LA medical examiner. Died from a single bullet wound to the torso. Officers from the LA County Sheriff's Department in Palmdale responded to a call about a carjacking and arrested a suspect. The man was named as 29-year-old Freddie Snyder, who was charged with the murder and separately of carjacking and burglary. Snyder lived 2 miles, was reported as having a history of trespassing, who reported him to the police. He had been taken into custody and released after breaking into the home of Grillmeier's neighbor on December 28th. All right, Nuno Loureiro. Shot inside his Brookline residence, died from his injuries the following day. Authorities connected his murder to Claudio Manuel Neves Valente, who was the perpetrator of the shooting at Brown University that occurred 2 days prior. Later that same day, fucking of course, later that same day, authorities found Valente dead of a self-inflicted gunshot inside a storage unit. So, oh, the guy that killed him, I guess nothing to look at there. Jesus Christ. This is fucking... Yeah, it's crazy that more people are not talking about the fact that we have people who have innovated on or responsible for are creating these world-altering seismic technologies, who are working on things that could literally change just the course of everything, from nuclear which all of these things, by the way, would be massive disrupting forces, right? Cancer meds, massively disruptive for the US economy, or at least the pharmaceutical business, if made affordable. The idea of fucking renewable energy, like, don't get me fucking started. So if I were to put on my Alex Jones cap for a second and think about why all these people have a kind of interrelatedness, I don't know if it's because they all worked on some, I doubt it's because they all worked on some top secret project together, and like, I don't think it's a matter of like, oh, they all know aliens exist, so they have to be silenced about it. I think it is probably closer to all of these people in these very high areas of research and development have gotten too close to things that threaten some kind of power dynamic. Like that is straight, that's the only thing I can think of that's happening here. Hey, Evelyn. Double Trigger 666. Now, should I be afraid to go to college and become a scientist and possibly be killed by people in power? I mean, like, that's kind of always a possibility. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think the missing ones are in the cube now. They might be in the fucking cube. I wouldn't be surprised at this point. Nothing fucking surprises me anymore. Speaking of fucking which, dude. Holy God in heaven. God, how do I even cover all this shit? Yeah, let's... God. So much awful shit happening right now. Let's, go through... some of the shit that Trump's been saying today, because it has been a day and a half of the most heinous, openly genocidal nonsense. And I do not fucking understand I haven't seen anything. The DNC chair, Ken Martin, slammed Trump. Senate Democrat Ralph Warnock said in an interview that aired on Easter Sunday, he praised for President Trump. Jesus fucking Christ, man. So yesterday, on the holy day of the Christian calendar, Trump decided to push some cultural taboos and just straight up posted, called Iran, quote, I think it was fucking bastards. No, here it is. Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. So for those who don't know, the plan is very now openly that we are attempting to, which I have my fucking doubts about the efficacy of this. I really do think we are they are going to call our bluff. And I believe right now, we probably don't have the ability to just go and like destroy all their bridges. Like Trump wants to make it sound like, oh yeah, no, we just have guns pointed right on them. The quote-unquote rescue mission, we'll talk about the uranium overlap there, for the downed pilot yesterday, I think proves that we are not nearly as adept or qualified or equipped for any of these battles as certainly Hegseth and Trump want to pose as. But destroying these, so you may notice that in addition to being, which I honestly, the crassness, the crudeness is the least of my fucking worries. Like the idea that like, oh my gosh, this is so undignified for the seat of the presidency. It's like, anybody saying that, dude, he's still the president. You have a fucking sociopathic pedophile rapist in office. Like, I don't know what you expect. You need to start using language that rises to the moment. I need to start seeing the Capitol Hill Dems tell him to shut the fuck up. Like, this is not the time for decorum, dude. The idea that I haven't heard Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, I haven't heard, where are their fucking statements on this shit? It's fucking insane. So speaking of insane, the crazy part, he finished the message posted early on Easter Sunday. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump, which is the most insane thing. Green, who is one to Trump loyalists, said Sunday that everyone in Trump's admin needs to, who claims to be a Christian, quote, needs to fall on their knees and beg forgiveness from God and intervene in Trump's madness. I know all of you and him, and he has gone insane, and all of you are complicit. Green slammed Trump's threats as a move that would ultimately hurt the Iranian people, the very people Trump claimed he was freeing. Quote, on Easter of all days, as we Christians should be reminded that the Son of God died and rose from the grave so that we can be forgiven once and for all of our sins, Jesus commanded us to love one another and forgive one another, even our enemies. Our president is not a Christian. It's like, it's so hard to take anything Christians say seriously because they'll say shit like this, but then be like, yeah, we need to lock up all the trans people, and oh my goodness, we need to shoot protesters dead in the streets. Like, I just know you're not about that life. You're not, Our president is not a Christian. His words and actions should not be supported by Christians. Escalating, they should be working towards peace, not escalating war that is hurting people. This is not what we promised the American people when they overwhelmingly voted in 2024. He's already killed thousands. He's going to kill thousands more, Murphy wrote. Anthony Scaramucci, Jesus Christ. Quote, it was at this point that our founding fathers thought the best thing to do would be remove a madman who has executive office. It became more formalized with the 25th Amendment, but more people now should be calling for this man's removal. Several journalists marveled at the bizarre Easter message, reposting a screenshot of Trump's Truth Social on X. CNN's Jake Tapper even cautioned viewers, if your children are watching, be warned, the president did not use polite language. See, like, that's the kind of shit. I'm fucking like, please be warned. There's upsetting. Like, they said the F word, dude. Your tax dollars are going to bombing Iranian girls' schools. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, ooh, don't piss me off. Jake Tapper, don't piss me off. All right, so right now, here's the situation. Trump has given the Iranian government 10 days ago, he gave them a 10-day deadline. That deadline is up, I believe, tomorrow. That if they do not open the Strait of Hormuz, we are, the implicit threat right now is, and when I say it's not even implicit, the explicit threat right now is that we are going to bomb their major infrastructure. So power plants, desalinization plants, like water treatment shit, and anything having to do with like roads, bridges, civilian infrastructure that is used to, either move military operational gear or just, interstate, well, I guess they don't have states, but inter-country travel. And now, if you know anything about, say, the rules of engagement, the Geneva Conventions, you're not supposed to target civilian targets. You are not supposed to willfully target sites of civilian activity with the full knowledge that there may be civilians there, and that those civilians are probably going to die as a result of your actions. Now, there's one thing I've seen. Oh, God, if I can find it. Here we go. I believe. So here is one thing from the Hormuz letter that is happening. And thus far, I take this with a grain of salt because they do have a site, a source. But I don't read this language, so I cannot verify this is actually what it's saying. I'm relying on Twitter interpretation here. Iran is organizing nationwide human chains of youth, athletes, and artists at every power plant in the country at 2 p.m. Tehran time tomorrow, per Iran's Ministry of Sports and Youth. The campaign is named, quote, Human Chain of Iranian Youth for a Bright Future. Its slogan is attacking public infrastructure is a war crime. International signage will be displayed for global media coverage. At least 2,000 non-government organization members are confirmed. The chain forms 13 hours before Trump's 8 p.m. Eastern Time strike deadline. Iran is gathering civilians at the exact infrastructure the U.S. has threatened and televising it to the world. Now, I have not seen anybody report on this. I do not think that the American media will report on this because, as you can already see in the comments here, people are trying to twist this. If this is indeed true, which again, grain of salt, people are already saying in the comments, if that's not terrorism, I don't know what is. Using civilians as shields is disgusting. Which is the exact propaganda angle that the American mind is going to scamper for. To try and resolve the cognitive dissonance of us being the terrorist aggressors. The idea that people can look at that and go, no, we're actually the good guys for bombing them. They're the bad guys for putting civilians near the civilian infrastructure. Unfucking believable. Karen L., do you think that if Bernie Sanders had called Trump a creepy fucking rapist in 2016, we would be in this mess? Yeah, probably. Because, like, 2016 Democrats were, I think in their confusion, you see it a little bit in the discourse, the quote-unquote discourse around, like, Hassan, and which, I'm so fucking glad the Democratic Party and all of the little DNC chairs and their fucking New York Times ass editorial board mouthpieces who have all their fucking, highly paid DNC ops who are doing paid promo for Newsom or whoever the fuck. I'm so glad that right now, as there are very real possibilities of people in the White House threatening nuclear fucking war, I'm so glad that the Democrat Party establishment is worried about one fucking Twitch streamer. In a very real way, I think the way that they are reacting to Hassan, the way that they are reacting to the fact that somebody is that popular for, by nature of, don't get me wrong, just having more progressive ideals, advocating for more progressive policies than the fucking lib status quo. And it is enough to try and tar and feather one person rather than trying to understand the populist reasoning behind why Hassan is so popular. Like, I hate being drawn into fucking defending Hassan. Anyway, if this happens, so we're going to talk about the rest of the war crimes. Aaron Rupar, as always, did a phenomenal job locking in clips. Trump has had two events today, one of which has been the White House Easter egg thing that was canceled yesterday. The other, oh, we got to talk about the uranium grab that happened over the weekend. I'm going to put this on really quick.
As new Iranian claims surface, were US forces really just saving a downed pilot in Iran, or trying to snatch enriched uranium under the cover of a dramatic rescue? With Tehran now decoding the operation, is the truth behind Trump's secret Iran mission finally leaking out? And does it look very different from the heroic version he sold at home? If nearly 200 troops, aircraft, and a temporary base were thrown into Iran, was Washington really risking all that for one airman? Or did it have a much more sensitive target in mind? As Iran goes ballistic in its rhetoric, is it trying to paint the rescue as another American failure, hidden behind what it calls fake heroism and a cover story? Tehran.
So, one of the biggest questions about TM'd on Twitter, it's very important. Okay, let me. I will look at that, Juno.
Now brands the operation a deception mission, insisting the US op was never really about the pilot at all, but about Iran's most guarded nuclear assets. The celebrated US fighter pilot rescue is now under fire, as Iran claims the mission actually hid an agenda to steal enriched uranium on Iranian soil. On April 6, Iran's foreign ministry said the US search mission may have been nothing more than a cover to get close to sites holding enriched uranium.
Yeah, no shit.
The allegation landed just after Trump announced on April 5 that the second F-15E crew member had been rescued and flown out safe and sound. Trump had hailed the mission as one of the most daring operations in US history, launched after the F-15E was shot down over Iran on April 3. Reports say the rescue involved roughly 200 US personnel and unfolded from a temporary base or forward staging point inside Iranian territory. Iran's military has dismissed that narrative, calling the entire effort a deception and escape operation that ultimately failed to achieve its real goals. On April 6, Foreign Ministry spokesman Ismail Baghai raised fresh doubts about US intentions, saying there were still many questions and uncertainties about what Washington was really trying to do. Ismail Baghai said, and I quote, "The area where the American pilot was claimed to be present in Kogaluyeh and Boyar Ahmed province is a long way from the area where they attempted to land or wanted to land their forces in central Iran. The possibility that this was a deception operation to steal enriched uranium should not be ignored at all." Unquote. Interestingly, Baghai is not the first Iranian official to float this claim, suggesting Tehran may now be building a wider narrative that the US rescue was really a failed uranium theft under the fog of war. Iran's head of energy management strongly hinted that the US rescue operation might actually be a cover-up, implying that Washington was trying to hide its true intentions under the cloak of saving a wounded airman. Ismail Sagab Esfahani, the official in charge, was quoted by RT News directly questioning the F-15 rescue mission, asking whether the narrative made any sense given the scale and location of the US deployment. RT, citing Esfahani, highlighted his incredulity. 2 C-130 transport planes and multiple helicopters amounted to overwhelming force for a single-man mission, raising doubts about what Washington was really after. Esfahani went further, noting that US aircraft just happened to land miles from Isfahan's nuclear-linked facilities, a detail he said was too convenient to ignore given the talk of seizing Iranian uranium.
Yeah, so this is, I understand people are reacting to how overwrought it is. I think the AI and everything, the Hindustan Times, generally okay. Like they source their stuff okay. And this is all coming from the Iranian side of things. So yeah, there is a propaganda play to be made here. However, there are so many things that don't line up about the quote unquote raid that we see. RT is not a reliable source of information. Oh no, I know in general because it's propaganda. However, this is the exact kind of thing that if it is true, we wouldn't hear from United States media. So like usual, I think it is probably somewhere in the middle. I do think that there was something to be, I think there was something to the the idea that there was a play made for the uranium. You're sleep deprived, lol, but thanks. Yeah, the audio mixing isn't great. Yeah, Fuser Trade, that's the thing. The airman allegedly walked 130 miles injured up a mountain in, what was it, a day or something? Fuser J, something like that. There are so many things, and like, just think of Trump and Hegseth. These people are so fucking dumb. El Salve, thank you for $5. But Vest, Trump needs to win this conflict to assert his alpha male status and spike his cortisol, or else everyone will think he's weak and soy. Unfortunately, I think that the day has passed. How did the C-130 get like that, really? Yeah, interesting. Like seriously, 200, this is a rescue operation for one person, and it took 200 people? The math ain't mathin' to me. Which, the really unfortunate thing is that could just be because that's the way shit is right now. Yeah, so that's the story there. Thank you, Juno, for sending this in.
Let's go. Come on. Get in. Let's go. Blah. They came one right after another. Not at the same time. They don't want to come at the same time.
Telling everyone how impressive my first gay bareback orgy was. Real shit. Real type shit. Alright, now you gotta get a little bit less fun here. We had a little haha, we had some chuckles, we had some japes and some good times.
I'm not worried about it. You know it's a war crime? Having a nuclear weapon.
You know what's a war crime? Having a nuclear weapon. Is one of the most insane fucking things to hear from the Epstein contingent.
Allowing a sick country with demented leadership have a nuclear weapon, that's a war crime. And if I allowed that to happen, like 7 other presidents did, every president said, you know, many of them are saying be off the record and they're saying behind the scene, they should have done this a long time ago. Other for 47 years this has been going on, and every one of those presidents should have done it. And actually, as you know, off the record, they're doing it off the record because they haven't got the courage to say it. Those presidents should give me a lot of credit. This should have been done by Obama, should have been done.
So those presidents, of which there can only be Clinton, Bush, and Obama, are the ones that he keeps saying that, oh, they won't say it in public, but they're totally they're totally down with me. These people who and Biden, of course. Clinton, Bush, Obama, and Biden, people who he has just none of those people like him. Even fucking Bush has been incredibly, as far as, you know, the political niceties of Capitol Hill go, has not been the biggest supporter of Trump. Oh no, we are committing war crimes. Make no fucking mistake about it. Make no bones about it.
Clinton should have been.
Like I was saying, Aaron Rupar has a lot of good shit from today because there's just been a highlight reel, a cornucopia of insane shit.
We haven't heard that in, I think, maybe hundreds of years. Now with Venezuela. And we, just so you understand, the people of Venezuela, they say if I ran for president of Venezuela, I'm polling higher than anybody has ever polled in Venezuela. So after I'm finished with this, I can go to Venezuela. I will quickly learn Spanish. It won't take too long. I'm good at language. And I will go to Venezuela. I'm going to run for president. We haven't heard that in, I think, maybe hundreds of years.
Now, the thing is, him and a lot of other people will try and say, like, oh, obviously he was joking. But it's not fucking funny, dog. Because as we've seen before, as we saw for years and years, people have been saying, oh, he's just joking. Oh, he won't really do this. He's just joking about being a dictator. He's just making jokes. And then, yeah, it's joking to normalize the ideas that he is actually going to fucking do. Yeah, also, God, please, oh my gosh, I would love for him to go down to Venezuela and get the Mussolini Deluxe. Here we go.
The timing was great. But no, I was told that this is a very dangerous mission. I understand. They didn't say it's a foolish mission. They said, you know, we're going to be sacrificing hundreds of people do this. This is, I mean, you have tankers that are flying over this area so that because the flight was so long, they had to refuel. It's a very dangerous mission. I just felt it was worth it. If you would have told me that we would have been successful, gotten both, and nobody was even essentially injured, I would have said that would be impossible. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, thank you very much.
The timing was great.
But Grackle, thank you for $5. Did you ever see the movie Walker about the first American president of Nicaragua, William Walker, in 1880? Great and very real film. I have not. I will add that to the list, though. All right. Yeah, this shit, like, this stuff keeps going, by the way, today. It's beyond parody. It's been like this all day on my feed. I feel like I am actually fucking losing it.
The war is coming to an end. The war going to be bombing Iran to the Stone Ages. Right. And we've heard a range of those kind of messages. So so which is it? Are you winding this down or are you escalating?
I can't tell you. I don't know. I can't tell you. Depends what they do. This is a critical period. They have a period of, well, till tomorrow at 8 o'clock.
Our messaging on the war has moved from the war.
Being bitter about fucking South Korea. Yeah. Here's the really scary shit.
The entire country can be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night.
Which doesn't sound like just taking out civilian infrastructure. I wanted to see. News 18. Trump's Doomsday plane seen circling nuclear Nebraska base after Iran rejects ceasefire. Now, there's been some people on the left who have been... I have been hesitant, as always, to jump into any fear-mongering trend, any kind of spreading information, or, you know, these incredibly harmful eventualities. I've been very cautious against it. Seeing this and seeing these things align gives everything a little bit more gravity, I think. Aircraft, a Boeing E-4B Night Watch carried out multiple loops above Offutt Air Force Base in Nebraska, which houses America's nuclear command infrastructure. Flight tracking data showed the plane taking off at around 10 a.m. Eastern Time, completing at least 6 circles before heading east over Strahan, roughly 40 miles away, according to a report by the Daily Mail. The E4B is designed to act as a flying command center during emergencies. It allows top U.S. officials, including the President, Vice President, and Secretary of War, to operate from the air in the event of a major crisis. Yeah, this shit is, oh yeah, here's another one. By the way, same dude who is calling those shots, Paul Burns. I'm willing to bet, so here's the thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're looking at nukes because it is a tactical command, like it is a flying command center that they can use for a bunch of other shit. That's not surprising. And that, you know, that could have even had to do with the quote unquote, the rescue, whatever operation they did in Iran yesterday. It could just be really fucking scary. But in either case, I think people need to... I don't even know. Like, what the fuck? Like, what do we do? You know? Like, at this point, what is there left to even do? Big Rackle and Hot Take Hegseth is in charge of all this. There will be no sane or commensurate actions on the part of the military. You might be right. Oh, here's the one. Sorry. Listen to the, just chat. Listen to this shit.
I did one other, but this one was not picked up. Osama bin Laden. If you read my book. I did one other, but this one was not picked up. Osama bin Laden. If you read my book, I said you got to take him out 1 year before the World Trade Center came down. So I wish you'd read the book.
He looks so fucking...
This one was not picked up.
I need it to happen live on camera, chat. I need it to happen live on fucking camera. I need... it. The world would not be fair if we got Charlie on camera, but not Trump. Sorry, that might be a... here you go. The book doesn't say that. Page 130. Quote, one day we're told that a shadowy figure with no fixed address named Osama bin Laden is public enemy #1. He escapes back under some rock, and a few news cycles later, it's onto a new enemy and new crisis. Yeah. He did a marky mark. If I was on that plane, it would have gone down differently. I wouldn't have let my plane get taken over on 9/11. I would have punched everybody out and then taken them all to Wahlburgers. Trump ignores a question about rising gas. What about rising gas prices for Americans as he wraps up the press conference?
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
What about rising gas prices for Americans who are concerned?
Great. Yeah, so let's go. Are there certain kinds of civilian targets like schools or hospitals that are off limits? Trump, I don't want to tell you that. We have a plan where every bridge and power plant in Iran will be decimated by 12 o'clock tomorrow night. What the fuck do you mean, dog? Like, I don't want to tell you that. Here's our exact plan. Like, you can't try and be coy and then be like, but I'm not gonna tell you the plan, but here's the exact, oh. Huh? What the fuck?
President, you called yesterday in your Truth Social, you called the Iranians crazy bastards.
True.
What is your response to critics who say that
I don't care about critics.
What is your response to critics who say that it is your mental health that should perhaps be examined as this war continues?
I haven't heard that. If that's the case, you're going to have more people like me, because our country was being ripped off on trade, on everything.
There's got to be a moment where you can get like half of what you want to ask out before he starts interjecting. There's got to be a moment in there for like the journalists and the people asking who are like, I know that the second he starts going, look, we were getting ripped off worse than, and frankly, nobody's ever seen us be ripped. I don't know why I went into like a Batman goon voice for a second there. And you know that all the journalists just are fucking rolling their eyes when he goes, oh, fuck, here we go again. This is gonna be the next 3 minutes of my goddamn life. Sally Twibbles, thank you for following.
Thing for many years until I came along. So if that's the case, you're going to have more people. Dasha, go ahead.
Conflict. Do you believe? Thank you very much. You've said glory be to God in this conflict. Do you believe that God supports the United States' actions in this?
I do, because God is good. Because God is good, and God wants to see people taken care of. God doesn't like what's happening. I don't like what's happening. Everyone says I enjoy it. I don't enjoy this. I don't enjoy it. These two guys don't enjoy it. You know, people say, "Oh boy, they're so tough." I don't like seeing people killed. I've ended 8 wars. Nobody's ever done it. The person who won the Nobel Prize came to me and said, "You deserve the Nobel Prize." She announced that when they announced. They said,
"Christ,
man." You said earlier today during the egg roll that you would like to take Iran's oil, but Americans want U.S. forces home.
Correct.
What's that trade-off?
If I had my choice, yeah, because I'm a businessman first. With Venezuela, as you know, the war was over in about 4.
Look, this is what they've wanted since 2016, right? This is what they've been fucking saying. They've been saying, "Oh, we want somebody who's not a politician. He's gonna run the country like a business." And what have even the most John Oliver, Samantha Bee ass libs have been saying? What is the one fucking refrain to that? It's like, yeah, all his businesses fucking failed. And look at it. All I can hope is that hindsight is 20/20 for all of these people.
45 minutes. And we have great people running Venezuela, very good people. I mean, the relationship is good. And we are a partner with Venezuela. And we've taken hundreds of millions of barrels, hundreds of millions. Over 100 million barrels already is in Houston, refined and out. And paid for that war many, many times over.
Paid for that war? What the fuck are you talking about? What? Okay, I thought Venezuela wasn't a war. I thought we just went and took Maduro. And the idea, so here's another thing, that not enough people in the kind of the intelligentsia and the journalist political beltway space right now are calling attention to is the evolving verbiage he is using to describe these operations. Because he's given up all pretense, and the fucking Democrats aren't doing anything, he's given up all pretense of even pretending to care that these are, acts of aggression, that these are operations. And now the word that he continues to use that nobody's calling attention to is take. He is talking about, oh, you could just go in and take oil from Iran. You can, anybody, hey, if you're in Europe and you want oil from the Strait of Hormuz, you can just go and take it because they're just so decimated. Like, but that's not the case. It's very obviously not the case. His entreatment of other countries to literally pillage and rape the resources of sovereign nations, and if I feel one of the many aspects that I feel fucking insane for even thinking about and paying attention to, because I haven't seen anybody else cover or talk about this. Like, it is a open escalation of the ideas behind what they want to accomplish. There is nothing here beneficial for anybody but the oligarch class, the people who will actually be making money off of these resources. Pure rapist vernacular? Absolutely. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh man. The fucking, yeah, Laura Loomer being a wretched, see you next Tuesday. Said something to that effect. Okay, I was unaware of this, this beef. This is pretty funny, actually. This is pretty good for me. Oh yeah, I need to pull up the Todd Blanche thing, too. Because he's helping to cover it up. Do we not have something more from today? Because shit has come out since then. Alright, I didn't realize there was inner fighting between, like, Laura Loomer and Roger Stone. That's pretty good for me, not gonna lie. Loomered. What a wretched fucking bitch. So, ICE records show General Qasem Soleimani's niece, Hamida Soleimani Afshar, now being held in ICE detention at ICE's Southern Texas detention facility. ICE initially arrested her in Los Angeles. Her daughter, Hosseini Sarinsadat, is at the same facility. Sarinasada. So, for those who don't know, she just got these people arrested for links to the Soleimani family. That's it. They are actual, like, in the ICE facilities that we are told is for the migrants from South America, that they are now just disappearing political, not even dissidents, just political enemies. God, she is really just all in on Trump. Like, she is calling out Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's calling out, like, what a worthless piece of shit. Today's cover, niece, grandniece of slain notorious Iranian general, arrested by ICE while enjoying lavish lifestyles. Have had their green cards revoked over ties to the Iranian regime. She promoted Iranian regime propaganda, celebrated attacks against American soldiers. So, I need people to fucking understand. Additionally to this, we'll go back to the Trump thing in a second, that these are part and parcel with all of the efforts to criminalize dissent towards ICE, to depict anything as un-American or unpatriotic or treason or equivalent to treason on a whim. Mary Exshard, thank you for $2. Just a game of Total War Warhammer to them. I think that's giving them way too much credit to be able to understand a Total War game. President Trump's budget request to Congress contains the largest counterterrorism spending increase in years, and buried inside it is a new FBI-led center dedicated to, quote, proactively hunting Americans the government classifies as so-called domestic terrorists. Now, if that proactive hunting makes you think, well, I'm not a terrorist, I want you to consider how many people have been taken by ICE because they put out quotas. That's what they'll do for this. I can almost guarantee it. They won't need to have actual proof of wrongdoing. All it will take will be suspicion. All it will take will be suspicion of, you were seen talking to this person. You have a DM with this person. Did you ever go in this Discord server? Did you read this book? Is this your paperwork? Like, we just saw it with the case in Texas, where somebody was accused and charged simply for moving communist fucking literature. You can do that shit working at Barnes & Noble. Though public opposition to ICE succeeded at forcing the admin to back down in Minnesota, even firing both Kristi Noem and Gregory Pavino, the FBI is doubling down its domestic terrorism obsession. Now, Trump's budget request reveals the FBI runs a dedicated NSPM-7 Joint Mission Center with personnel from 10 federal agencies. It is busy, quote, proactively identifying domestic terrorists motivated by any of the following beliefs. Now, do we think that these are going to be any of the regular domestic terrorists that we see, where they have some kind of element of online right-wing radicalization? Because I kind of doubt it. Coyote BW, thank you for $5. This is directly linked to NSPM-7 as reported by Glenn Kippenstein. Yes. Labels common beliefs as terrorism indicators. So we'll read that in a second. Here's the more recent one. Anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, anti-Christianity, support for the overthrow of the U.S. government, extremism on migration, extremism on race, extremism on gender, hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on family, hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on religion, and hostility towards those who hold traditional views on morality. Now, you might notice a lot of those are very nebulous. They aren't very specific. They don't list any organizations or examples because there aren't any. They just want to designate any dissent as inherently terroristic. I cannot be, if nothing fucking stops this tomorrow, today, the ICE detention centers and facilities will be overflowing. If you want to know why there are going to be less and less protests, that's fucking why. If your political views are practically anything other than MAGA, you're on notice, courtesy of the FBI. The new center combats these supposed threats by integrating intelligence, operational support, and financial analysis. Sure. Its creation appeared to be inspired by the murder of conservative commentator Charlie Kirk, an event that reportedly precipitated the formulation of NSPM-7 in the first place, according to the budget request, which alludes to heinous assassinations having dramatically increased. There was one assassination. Well, unless you're talking about fucking Luigi. In his testimony to Congress, FBI Director Kash Patel said that he would investigate every single person on the Discord channels used by accused killer Tyler Robinson. Leaked screenshots of those same Discord chats I obtained, as well as interviews I conducted, made it clear that these chats were about gaming, not politics. What just happened? Here we go. I meant to look this up earlier. So, speaking of Kash Patel and Charlie Kirk, by the way, new court filings in Utah's case against Tyler Robinson, the suspect in Charlie Kirk's murder, gave way to widespread claims that a bullet analysis exonerates him, which is not necessarily what that means. Robinson's lawyers wrote in a March 27 court filing that the Bureau of ATF, alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and explosives, well, I guess explosives was added, unable to identify the bullet recovered at autopsy to the rifle allegedly tied to Mr. Robinson. In a previous court filing from March 10th, lawyers for news media seeking public disclosure quoted an ATF report that the defense counsel had cited. The report compared a bullet jacket fragment from Kirk's autopsy to a recovered rifle and determined the comparison to be inconclusive, which is weird. It's fucking weird. Oh. On social media, former Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene, conservative commentator Candace Owens, and others spotlighted the news and hinted that it showed far less is known about Kirk's killing than has been reported. PolitiFact spoke to forensic science and criminology experts who said an inconclusive finding on a bullet fragment like this is not uncommon and does not rule out that the weapon used in Kirk's killing was the same one linked to Robinson. Quote, what the results of a bullet fragment analysis come back as inconclusive, that does not mean that the rifle did not fire the bullet. Christopher Ballard, a spokesperson for the Utah County Attorney's Office and part of the prosecution team, wrote in an email to PolitiFact, there just aren't enough marks on a fragment to make a conclusion one way or other as to whether the bullet fragmented was fired by that particular rifle. The bullet may simply be too small or too deformed for examiners to provide an accurate analysis. So keeping an eye on that one, but I think it's still fucking weird. I think there's been so much weird shit, dude. Like, the sheer amount of happenstances that continue to fucking happen, blowing me away. Let's go. Yeah, let's keep doing this. They're very good bullshit artists. For 47 years, they've been bullshitting other presidents.
Till tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, and after that...
Have a good day, Max Danger.
But we're giving them till tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, and after that, they're going to have no bridges. They're going to have no power plants. Stone Ages, yeah. Stone Ages.
I don't like the way he looked there.
And after that, they're going to have no bridges. They're going to have no power plants. Stone Ages, yeah. Stone Ages.
question. Deliberate attacks on civilian infrastructure violate the Geneva Conventions and international law.
Who are you with?
I'm with the New York Times. Zolan from the New York Times. Are you
failing?
Are you
concerned? Circulation way down at the New York Times.
Are you concerned that your threat to bomb power plants and bridges amount to
No, not at all. No, I'm not. I hope I don't have to do it. But again, I just said 47 years they've been negotiating with these people. They're great negotiators, and because they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And if somebody that takes my place someday is weak and ineffective, which possibly that will happen because we had numerous presidents that were weak, ineffective, and afraid of Iran, we're never going to let Iran have a nuclear weapon. And if you think it's okay for people that are sick of mind, that are tough, smart, and sick, really sick, from a policy standpoint.
That was fucking funny, dude. I'm sorry, that was great. The idea that he tried to say ideology, stumbled in the very first few letters, and his brain just went, nope, abort. We're not cut out for this. Go, different word. Pick something else. Quick. He was like, they're very dangerous as in terms of their policy.
Point from a
that's crazy.
Any which way you want to say, mentally, these are disturbed people. If you think I'm going to allow them, and powerful and rich, to have
I'm going to allow them.
At a high level, either one of those two instances, and if they did, in my opinion, I told this to Bibi Netanyahu yesterday, Israel would have been extinguished. Large portions of the Middle East would have been extinguished.
No, it probably actually would have just been Israel. And honestly, I'm sorry, I can't say that because rest in peace, you won't be missed, I guess.
Whether it's Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, or others. And you saw that with thousands of missiles raining down upon them. They didn't think they were going to be hit. They thought they'd be watching us fight.
God, he looks like ass, dude. Like, he's always looked like shit, but he just looks bloated and puffy and tired. His hair is so fucking gray. He has a massive bald spot today. I'm so ready, chat. I'm so ready to fucking...
Democrat is, if you're Jewish in New York City or any place else in this country, and how you can vote for a Democrat is unbelievable, because
unbelievable. God damn.
But no, I was told that this is a very dangerous mission. I understand. They didn't say it's a foolish mission. They said,
crab rave.
We're going to be sacrificing hundreds of people. Do this. This is. I mean, you have tankers that are flying over this area so that because the flight was so long, they had to refuel. It's a very dangerous mission. I just felt it was worth it. If you would have told me that we would have been successful, gotten both, and nobody was even essentially injured, I would have said that would be impossible. Yeah.
So that is the other thing, is that they so desperately, the reason why I don't buy Trump's narrative about the quote-unquote rescue mission is that not only all the weird shit surrounding it, but that Trump and Hegseth in particular are desperate for any dub they can claim. And I think they really want this to be their Hollywood moment, their Black Hawk Down, their thing that galvanizes a public support for the rest of it. But it fucking doesn't, because everybody's asking, why are we there in the first place, dog? Why are we bombing these hospitals and cultural centers and schools with our fucking money, and nobody can afford rent, and everything keeps getting more fucking expensive? Here we go. How many
so yeah, there were people
asking, I think, General Kane, and just leaking fucking, again, see, his brain is, somebody said his brain is pudding? Yeah.
So yeah, there were people within the military that said it's a wise. And don't forget, how many men did you send altogether, approximately, for the operation?
I'd love to keep that a secret.
Okay, well, we are. But I will tell you, the number, I'll keep it a secret, but it was hundreds. And hundreds of these people, that's pretty good. Is he central casting? But hundreds of people went into this journey. Hundreds of people could have been killed. Forget about the equipment, a lot of equipment, nobody cares. Hundreds of people could have been killed. So yeah. And again, and a lot of the news doesn't talk about that. They talk about, oh, women's rights. You want to see women's rights? You're not going to see it there. It's amazing.
Motherfucker, you don't have women's rights here.
Like,
what the fuck are you talking about?
All that group. They talk about
everybody in your orbit has some brand of fascist white preacher. Like, you're looking into even the fucking Hegseth preacher. And every one of these people goes to a church where the guy's like, yeah, and women shouldn't have the right to vote because it's not biblical, and men are actually super cool and women are very unbased, actually. When you read the Bible, Jesus specifically says that foids shall not inherit the earth, and that is that you need to be way more rizzed up with the sauce, actually. And they're all these dumbass groiper motherfuckers with the shitty haircuts and their dumbass fucking manicured beards. And people through like 2 degrees of separation from Trump, I guarantee. Several people like that. The idea that anybody can go, and I understand Trump genuinely thinks this because he's a fucking moron, because he's a dipshit. But I think Trump genuinely thinks that there is like a difference, or that we do somehow protect or defend women, right?
Oh, freedom for Iran. They don't tell you the real facts. Women, men, gays. How about gays for Iran? They kill the gays. They throw them off buildings. So I wonder what's going on. I can only say this. They want us to keep bombing, even if it jeopardizes, because their life is in much greater danger. They want freedom for Iran.
That's, again, not what we keep seeing, where Iranian civilians flocked to the site of All right, how rescue of U.S. airmen in a remote part of Iran unfolded. High-stakes raid, again, this is the official narrative that is being sold to you by the State Department, folks. This is all in the Klaus Schwab plan. High-stakes raid into Iran on Sunday to rescue an injured airman left stranded. Race against the clock and advancing Iranian operatives to find an officer deep inside hostile territory. Wait, what were they doing there? First incident of its kind in more than 20 years. The 2 U.S. military personnel on board ejected while the pilot was rescued the same day. The second crew member, a weapons operator, became separated and remained stranded in a sparsely populated, rugged region. Iran offered a bounty of $66,000 to anyone who found him alive. And videos circulated on social media appeared to show armed civilians searching. Armed with a handgun, would have received training for this situation, which involves intermittently turning on a beacon signal to help American forces locate him, getting to high ground, establishing communications, concealing himself. Hid in a mountain crevice and restricted the use of his beacon signal out of concern it could be picked up by Iran. Blah, blah, blah. The CIA was able to train... Fucking of course, dude. Fucking of course the CIA... Like, yeah, they had their hands all over this shit. You're gonna tell me the CIA was responsible for this dude's pickup, but there wasn't anything more going on? That is the thing. The fact that the CIA was responsible for locating him tells me honestly everything I need to fucking know as to the truly duplicitous nature of this operation. The CIA also, here we go, yeah, also reportedly ran a deception campaign inside Iran, falsely spreading word that U.S. forces had already found him. The U.S. Special Forces aboard several aircraft made their way towards the stranded officer. Strikes were reportedly launched to keep Iranian troops away. The airman communicated information on Iranian positions from his hiding place on a 7,000-foot ridge to aid with those strikes. This is going to be turned into a fucking Hollywood movie, dude. Like, this is absolutely perfect for the brand of State Department propaganda. Like, Trump must, I guarantee there's already somebody, Brett Ratner or some fucking rapist is already trying to secure a film treatment for this. I can guarantee it. Like, this is going to be the next fucking Zero Dark 30. Like, well, Tom Clancy's dead, Naomi Francis. But it is like, no, this is ready-made. And here's the thing that's going to be so fucking funny. There's not even going to be, in the next era of military propaganda, which I guarantee, again, people are working on this right now. There is not going to be the mournful, gray morality or the attempts at humanizing soldiers like you saw in American Sniper, where they tried to make the genocidal, murdering shithead psychopath, fucking Kyle, whatever the fuck his name was, Chris Kyle, look like a normal, rational human being who had thoughts and emotions like everybody else instead of the dead-eyed serial killer he was. No, they're not even going to have that level of attention to the characters. The next generation is just going to be videos about shit like this, of completely unwarranted acts of international aggression where we go in and play the fucking victim. God. Few seconds. Thank you very much, DJT Maga 2028. Okay. Thank you for following. It doesn't bode well that you're following for the MAGA movement overall. I'm gonna say it. Wasn't Chris Kyle giddy about the kills he did? Yeah. Yeah. Like, Chris Kyle is a legitimate fucking psycho. If Chris Kyle was not put down like the rabid fucking dog he was, he would have killed somebody else. Like all of those roided up 8-ball psychos that come out of fucking Fort Bragg. Black Hawk Tua. That's the most insane thing I've read today. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations on that. Insane Monster, thank you for subscribing. All right, Iranian state media also said on Sunday troops from the IRGC had shot down a U.S. drone over Isfahan while searching for the missing airman. BBC News has not been able to corroborate this. IDF had assisted with the operation, including by launching strikes designed to act as a diversion. Yeah. Iranian and state-run media have painted the operation as a failure, with Ibrahim Zolfagari, a spokesperson for Iran's main military command, saying several U.S. military aircraft have been forced to make emergency landings. He said the ignorant president, trapped in the swamp of the war and aggression that he himself started, fully realized that any aggression, ground operation, or infiltration would face decisive and disgraceful defeat. Even if they're losing, even if the Trogs can try and spin this as some grand, heroic victory on the front lines, it cannot go unmentioned the decorum, there is a grace, there is a diplomacy that they bring even to their fucking clapbacks that really only serve to make us look far more ignorant, far more illiterate, and far more stupid by comparison. It's fucking crazy. Like I said, one of the videos I'm working on right now is kind of talking about the AI meme war that we've entered into with Iran, where Iran is just fucking cleaning our clock, just putting boots to ass. It's fucking embarrassing, honestly. Will future military propaganda have to portray Trump or Hegseth positively? Only if history belongs to the victor. Some U.S. analysts have described the loss of an F-15E deep inside Iranian territory, followed by the destruction of several rescue aircraft, as showing the limitations of U.S. air superiority. Okay, so several aircraft were destroyed, but nobody died. Not one. Not one. It takes a year to build an aircraft, takes 200 years to build a military tradition where you don't leave anyone behind. Wow, fucking bars, dude. Good job if it wasn't in service of the fucking pedophile empire.
They have lived.
My God, my fucking God. They just, I can't.
What they do.
How? First off, look at this fucking dipshit. Just look at the expression on his face and tell me he isn't sundowning. I can't wait. I can't wait.
I don't know what they do. All I can tell you is they want freedom. They have lived in a world that you know nothing about. It's a violent, horrible world where if you protest, you are shot.
Oh, no shit. Oh, damn. Okay, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm sure that won't come up later. That's not foreshadowing or anything for the next year.
Would be mad if you stopped these attacks, but why would they want you to blow up their infrastructure, to cut off their power? Wouldn't that be punishing Iranians for the actions of the regime?
They would be willing to, and it's suffering, they would be willing to suffer that in order to have freedom. The Iranians have, and we've had numerous intercepts. Please keep bombing. Bombs that are dropping near their homes. Please keep bombing.
Again, this is something I've called attention to before, but it is still so fucking wild. It is so fuck bonkers, batshit clown shoes insane to me that one of the narratives they're going with is that actually Iran loves being bombed. Actually, the civilians want us to keep bombing them. They say there's bombs dropping near their house, and they're like, yeah, America, bring some more bombs over. Instead of just, oh, we got to talk about the Kurds thing. Because, here we go. As he's just letting all national secrets and any pretense of, like, keeping a tight lid on these operations, just fucking whatever, who cares anymore? He revealed that, we sent, and this is probably when people were talking about in January the protests, which I was kind of bullish on at the time. I didn't know what to make of it. Just that, like, yeah, if Iran is killing protesters, that's bad. But also, the numbers that we were getting were so wildly out of proportion, and still, to my knowledge, has not been corroborated. The idea that 40,000 people are dead. 40,000. It seems more and more likely that what they were trying to do was stage something that would end in regime change, much like they very openly hoped taking out the Ayatollah would. But what it has further done is just galvanize the public support against Trump and against America, because no fucking shit, dude. Like, there are no Iranians sitting at home going, oh, I hope Trump bombs more of us today. I hope they bomb another fucking girls' school. Like, what are you... So, it was revealed yesterday, Trump says U.S. sent a lot of guns to arm Iranian protesters, but believes the Kurds took them. President's remark appears to be the first confirmation of U.S. involvement in aiding protests that racked Iran for weeks. Again, the idea that the CIA has been on the grounds working all this shit. What did I talk about when the Ayatollah was killed? Chat, what did I say when the Ayatollah was killed? I said that there's probably already CIA people behind the lines. There are probably already ops and proxies and agents and all sorts of shit working in Iran, trying to facilitate these things like regime change. This is probably one of their sub-projects. And again, the idea that the CIA had operational intel of the region enough to apparently lead to the rescue of this officer, or by my guess, probably go after the fucking uranium, tells me again, they are the ones who know the lay of the land more than anything else. Is Iran still using some of the weapons all over North, and Reagan sold them in the 80s? Well, so I retweeted this being like, fucking Iran-Contra too, and it's... But no, it's literally, like, I cannot fucking... Of all the things, and... every day there's something new that just makes you sit back and go, oh, we are really... Everything is really fucked up. Because this... It's not exactly it, because the Iran-Contra affair had... a Nicaraguan cocaine element that it was running to. But this is the kind of shit that 10, 15, 20 years ago would have been a administration ending controversy. It doesn't cause a fucking blip. It doesn't move the needle at all. It boggles my goddamn mind. Like, chat, I know everybody's going through it, and I know everybody is becoming hyper-normalized, and I don't think it's going to fucking solve everything or anything, but I am making a video about this, and I'm working very hard on it, that I hope will be able to help people grapple with some of these feelings and realize how they can build on them and make a positive change in their community. Try and actually do something. That said, people cannot be turning away from this right now. It is... You need to understand what is happening. In an interview over the phone with Fox's Trey Yingst, god damn, poor person, on Sunday morning, the president made another piece of news. The U.S. was directly involved in efforts to destabilize and overthrow the Iranian regime week before strikes were launched across Iran, and as the U.S. negotiators were engaging with senior government officials in Europe. Those protests began shortly before the new year and lasted for several weeks, ending in the violent subjugation of protesters by the Iranian government. Quote, we sent them a lot of guns. We sent them through the Kurds, and the president says he thinks the Kurds kept them. Yank said on Fox News, paraphrasing the president. Iranian Kurdish exiles have lived in a semi-autonomous region of Iraq near the border of Iran for decades following the Islamic Revolution in 1979 that saw the US-backed Shah of Iran overthrown and the installation of the supreme leader by Iran's new government. In the years since, the Kurds fought against Saddam Hussein's government in Iraq, as well as with the Iranian government since the latest conflict began. Some Kurdish groups still remain across the border in Iran. In that same interview, Trump told Yanks that Iranian officials had allegedly killed more than, here we go, 40,000 civilians in the crackdown ending those protests. I weep for any history teacher who has to explain why Watergate was a big... I mean, it was a big deal. Like, again, seems like fucking small potatoes compared to everything we're doing. Like, we just get a new Watergate every day now. Very little is off the table if a deal isn't reached, Trump told ABC, quote, if happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, we're blowing up the whole country. The president, independent, good job. The president slurred through an address to the nation that didn't make any major news about the war with Iran. Yep. He once again leaned into language that many see as overtly racist as he described Iranians as savages in their hunt to detain the downed American crew member. God, I was so hoping they would get him. Thousands of these savages were hunting him down. Even the population was looking for him. They offered people a bonus if they captured him. So Trump seems to be confirming what BBC was saying was unconfirmed, the reports that civilians were looking for them. And I tend to agree when Trump throws that shit out there, it's probably true just because he lets shit slip all the time. But again, these are the people that we are told are, at once, they love us. They also hate us and want to hunt us down. They also want us to keep bombing them, and they also want to rise up and secretly need our help because they want freedom. But they also are just like grabbing whatever guns and weapons they have and driving to probably pummel whatever American airman fell out of the sky near them to death at any given moment. Because guess what? The girls' school, by the way, has become a fucking rallying cry. So many people have galvanized around the victims of the Manaab school. And, like, who can fucking blame them? Benny Hill, 1220, thank you for following. Would you think that if America suffered a similar tragedy, if North Korea or Iran or China or any of our quote-unquote enemies that are often regarded as our antagonists on a world stage, if any of them had any culpability in an event like Sandy Hook, for example, or the Las Vegas shooting, do you think there is anything that the civilians of America, like, think of, and this is, I know this is like pandering conservative Glenn Beck bullshit where like right after 9/11 we were so united. No, right after 9/11 we were vitriolic, we were panicky, and the only thing we were united in was our nationalistic, jingoistic urge for some kind of catharsis, some kind of revenge. And to the most basic extent, I understand that. I get that. I understand why people would see United States civilians dying and be like, yeah, let's go fucking kill them. Like, fuck them up. Yeah. Because 99.9% of Americans have no cognition beyond, oh, they hate us because they ain't us. Like, that's it. Most people in America think of the Middle East as this abstract, far-off place that all kind of blends together. They couldn't tell you if Iran is bordered by Israel or Iraq. They couldn't tell you if Iraq is bordered by Israel, Iran, or both. And so they certainly, and you still see this today when people are like, actually Hassan said that the United States deserved 9/11. And it's like, no, that's not the sentiment that's being expressed. The sentiment that Hassan expressed is that it was blowback for decades of imperialism, for decades of CIA plants and fucking overthrowing shahs and all this shit. And instead we are told they hate us for our freedom. What fucking freedom, dude? This was the thing that always bugged me growing up, is like, I grew up in a time where even if it was not nearly as dire as it is now, but I still grew up with a fairly poor single mom, which meant me growing up, the idea of me going to college for 4 years, off the fucking table, unless I got scholarships, which I wasn't going to do because I kind of struggled through high school a little bit. Not like desperately, but I was not fucking burning up the rankings. So it never was like, I was never able to, oh, okay, I can get a job. Nope, can't do that. That was more of a mom thing. I'm going to, go to college. Nope, can't do that unless you want to go to the military. Nope, didn't want to do that. I couldn't own a car because I don't make enough money by the time I left college. So for most of my life, the idea of like, okay, what are you free to do? You are free to choose what food you want to eat. You are free to choose technically where you want to live, even though you are bound by your own resources. And you are free to choose what car you want to drive. You're free to choose shit like, what cell phone do you want? But are you free to actually choose what you want to do in life? Do you have the freedom of pursuing? Do you have the liberty to pursue Happiness. No, you don't. Not here in America. Lathe dead domain failed out of high school confirmed. I don't think I ever failed actually. Well, no, I did fail one class. I did fail one class. Geez. In fairness, I was a little demon about it. But I do believe I failed my first year drama class. I think freshman year was the only time I ever actually failed a class. Because if nothing else, I was usually pretty good at, you know, a lot of my teachers liked me, and if nothing else, I was able to do like makeup work or whatever. Failing drama is a funny sentence. It's because I was a little belligerent shit and did stuff that like I would continually put on like skits and stuff that were very graphic, and like I was just an idiot. Like that's what it was. I was an idiot, and my teacher wanted to teach me a lesson, and he did. And funny enough, like after that, like me and the teacher were cool again eventually. After like a year or so, because I started acting in the plays at school, and like I think I was just a shithead in the day. To quote Bill Hicks, "You are free to consume." Exactly. It's the and granted, some of this is again in the essay I've been thinking of like what does freedom mean and how Americans get freedom mixed up with convenience, because that's basically, by the way, what most Americans' definition of freedom is. It's not actual freedom, it's convenience. They feel inconvenienced when people tell them to shut up because they say something they don't like. That's not freedom, that's consequences of you being inconvenienced. They feel that if you talk about America, oh, you gotta love it or leave it, oh, if you don't like here, move away, because they are inconvenienced by hearing the opinions of others. Like, that's what it all fucking comes back to. You can extend that to almost anything that the modern American thinks of as freedom, or will defend as, well, you're free to do this, you're free to do this, because you're really fucking not. And the system is now showing its teeth on that. The system is now coming out and saying, literally to your face, that we do not accept dissent, that we do not accept certainly any radical ideas, we do not accept changes to the status quo. Oh, it's so fucking frustrating. I had to take a bunch of Dragon Capital. I did have to do that in high school, or in college, sorry. I think I've talked about it. I went through a really depressive period early in college. Where I was starting a new job and was moving out of the house. Didn't quite know where I wanted to go or what I wanted to do. And then I got legitimately swindled by one of those fucking American honors programs, which, like, if you've done something like that and it worked for you, I'm glad. I felt lied to about the support I would get. I felt lied to about what would be actually expected of me. And I was utterly unprepared. And so it took years for me to like actually get my 2-year degree because I failed so many of my courses first semester, failed a bunch second semester, and I took like a 1.5-year break because I was paying by the semester. I was working my way through college, literally. So it was actually one of the nicer things about when Biden did the student loan forgiveness is that I did have less than 10K in debt total because I had been working my ass off through college and scraping, like literally scraping by to do that. Only to ultimately get a 2-year degree that I didn't end up using for my job. So whoopsie doodles, I guess. Haha. Alrighty. Racist top officials continue to insist the Iranian military has been destroyed so that the U.S. has already essentially achieved victory, only to continuously fail to convince Iran's government, which still appears to be intact, to reopen the Strait of Hormuz or strike a formal agreement to end the conflict. Oil prices continue to rise as a choking of major shipping route drags on and weeks pass by while the White House insists that the end of the war is coming in days. CNN poll found that as many as 2/3 of Americans do not believe he has a plan for ending the war. That is fucking insane. God, that's so much. All right. Yeah, here we go. Here's that clip of him saying that. Let's see if I can get.
They killed.
Goddamn. Sorry, everybody.
Very simple.
Goddamn, why is it so fucking loud? Independent. Come on, why?
Mr. President, how would it not be a war crime to strike Iran's bridges and power plants?
Because they killed 45,000 people in the last month. More than that. I think it could be as much as 60. They kill protesters. They're animals. And we have to stop them, and we can't let them have a nuclear weapon. Very simple.
So they are animals for killing protesters after we almost certainly tried regime change in one form or another and astroturf those protesters. Wouldn't be surprised at all by that. And they're animals for shooting protesters. Meanwhile, our protesters, who are people like nurses and moms, deserve to be shot in the head in the streets because they're Antifa terrorist sympathizers. Rad, dude. Rad. All right, here we go.
But the three unbelievable people, they have a plan. Every single thing has been thought out by all of us. But I can't reveal the plan to the media. So, but we're just thrilled by the success of this operation.
First reporter Trump calls on effusively praises him before asking a question. Fucking.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for this great opportunity.
Is that Turkey?
Country, it has super army. You make a difference, Mr. President. Thank you for your greatest leadership.
Oh, busy day at the dick sucking factory, I guess.
Today. As the Secretary said to our enemies, this operation serves as a clear reminder of the capability and will of America's joint force. The United States of America will recover our warfighters.
Oh, he constantly sounds winded now, which further seems like heart failure. Inshallah, I fucking chat. I'm gonna be so fucking just euphoric when it happens. What do you say to Americans who are not fans of the war?
What do you say to Americans who are not a fan of the war?
They're foolish, because the war is about one thing. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Had we not broken the Barack Hussein Obama agreement, you know what I'm talking about, the Iran nuclear deal. This is years ago, my first term. You would have had a total, Israel would have been gone, extinguished. Israel would have been wiped off the face of the earth.
No, what a shame that would have been.
If they don't get in and get...
So again, one of the things that Trump loves about his operations is how ready fucking made they appear to be already. I wouldn't be surprised, by the way, if the State Department has a Maduro capture movie in the works for their fucking propaganda. I wouldn't be surprised at all, especially with how much Trump talks about wanting to get conservatism back into Hollywood, wanting to get pro-American propaganda back into Hollywood. Wouldn't be surprised at all. But he loves the narrative thrill of it, the incredibly simplistic. This goes back to what we were talking about with his fixation with, like, blood sport. Something that has long been known about him, that he loves to fast forward through movies like Bloodsport to just the action scenes. And you can hear him, the only time he seems slightly awake, or just not outright somnambulant during any of these pressers, is when he's doing this shit. Is when he's talking about people dying, people being fucking blown up.
Up fast, we're sitting in the, and that's called Iran Prime, right, General? That's where the whole bet is, and here we are sitting there waiting for a plane, but they came in so fast and so hard, and these guys knew exactly what to, let's go, come on, get in, let's go, blah. They came one right after another, not at the same time. They don't want to come at the same time. They had to come right after each other. They didn't have any room. There was barely any room to land. Tiny little patch of very wet earth and sand.
This direction today will be the largest volume of strikes since day one of this operation. Tomorrow, even more than today. And then Iran has a choice. Choose wisely, because this president does not play around. None of this would have been possible without the courageous leadership and ironclad determination of President Donald J. Trump.
Do you think he needs knee pads, or do you think his knees are just used to being down there so long? You know? Like, do you think he has an evolutionary advantage? I imagine a top-ranking champion functioning alcoholic like Hegseth has spent more than a few nights on his knees in front of a toilet, and I think that probably gives him a lot of training for this. Other people, they don't have that dog in them. They don't have being down on their knees and having to work up the strength to get back up.
From the moment our airmen went down, President Trump made it clear we will leave no one behind. The first mission, the first of two, was an audacious daylight thunder run right up the middle. It was authorized in less than 2 hours from that pilot going down when we knew where.
A thunder run. God, he's so fucking lame, dude. That's the real cringe part. I was following I think Seth Harp tweeted something about the they found, oh, by the way, yeah, that was the other thing they found. Let me fucking here we go. Times of Israel. Iranian media publishes U.S. soldiers' ID found in wreckage of plane. Iranian state-run media carries what it says is previously unpublished footage from the wreckage of American aircraft that were destroyed during the exfiltration of an American officer. In the footage, armed men who appear to be Iranian military officials are seen combing through the remains of a C-130 transport holding a U.S. service member's military ID and Israeli border control entry receipt. They show off an American Express credit card, a receipt, and an American flag. So that is literally, word for word, bar for bar, the shit Seth Harp in the Fort Bragg cartel describes as being part of the JSOC Special Operations Command modus operandi is to give people, they have the government, the CIA and the intelligence agencies have deals with major banks, major manufacturers, that they can have you, if you are a intelligence officer, if you are part of a spec ops unit, if you are part of a Delta unit, and you are sent into these countries undercover, they have you with a fake social security, entirely fabricated ID. They will give you Israeli credentials like this and give you clearanced level cards like American Express and shit like that so that you can just expend and buy anything under an ID and with a social security number and all this stuff that correlates to this fake ID that they will, fake identity they'll manufacture for you. Again, Fort Bragg cartel, cannot fucking recommend it enough. There's so much shit that I see happening now because of Fort Bragg cartel and Jakarta Method and a couple other books I've been reading. One other book I've been reading. That I just look at and I'm like, yeah, so that's fake. That's just fake. That's what the CIA does. Like, you are describing bar for bar shit that we know they do. And again, this is not a like Alex Jones like, oh, it's all in the documents, folks, and then you never show. No, it's like a lot of this stuff is from people who work in the security state, intelligence, people who have worked in these circles. They've talked about it openly before. And it's not even like the insane conspiracy bullshit that is spun by people like Alex Jones, where they'll go and talk about, they keep babies down there and they suck their blood out to make them young. Like, none of that bullshit. This is just basic tradecraft when it comes to spies and shit. But again, supporting my thesis that, again, the CIA has been here laying down all of the foundations for the operations we're seeing here. Fort Bragg cartel is after the Jakarta method, currently reading Jakarta. I would, honestly, that's the order because I revisited Jakarta method. I'd read that one before. That is the order I would recommend reading them in. Lady French, thank you for $2. Pete's tweaking out. Hello. Thank you, I think twice. Showed that you sent that twice. Spooky Pepper 6900, thank you for tier 1 for 14 months. Yippee! 14 months. Yippee! IRGC claimed yesterday to have downed the American C-130, although U.S. officials said the planes were blown up by the U.S. when technical difficulties forced troops rescuing the downed airmen to leave the aircraft behind. No, we actually, we totally blew up our own ships. Yeah, we're actually super cool in that. Come on, man. Come on, man. Oh, these people are so fucking corny. All right, let's go back to Easter egg shit. There we go.
Contingency plan, which was unbelievable, where lighter, faster aircraft came in, and they took them out. We blew up the old planes.
Violet Left, thank you for 50 big tags. Secret workout. Instead of going from standing to a push-up, he goes standing to his knees for 40 minutes straight every time. Oh, Christ.
We blew them up to smithereens because we had equipment on the planes that, frankly, we'd like to take, but I don't think it was worthwhile spending another 4 hours there taking it off. So we didn't want anybody to have, we have the best equipment anywhere in the world. We didn't want anybody examining our anti-aircraft and other equipment. So these were large planes that were old and pretty old, and we blew them up, all bogged down, and we had a contingency plan, which was unbelievable, where lighter, faster aircraft came in, and they took them out. We blew up the old planes. We blew them up to smithereens because we had equipment on the planes that... Yeah, who are you with? Who are you with? PBS. Well, that's a radical left group of lunatics that you're with. Let me just tell you, very fair question. The Iranian people, when they don't hear bombs go off, they're upset. They want to hear bombs because they want to be free. And the only reason they're not out protesting, you know that, is because they were informed that if they protest, like the wrestler and his friends, if they protest, they will be shot immediately. And that's an edict. That's in writing. If they protest, if they go out in the streets, they will...
What the fuck is he talking about? The wrestler and his friend. The No World Order, thank you for following. What does that mean? Is there a... Mick Foley? I'm like, did he have a fucking brain fart to, like, the Iron Sheik? No, exactly. Zarin Joy, you said the same thing. The wrestler. I'm like, does he think that the Iron Sheik, because the Iron Sheik hated Hulk Hogan, does he think that he's over in Iran, right? Are we going to jail the Iron Sheik? Man. Soleimani was a big wrestler? Was he really? That wouldn't be surprising to me. Oh, where was the fucking one? Looking very healthy and normal today, sir. Looking very healthy and normal. God, it really is repulsive looking at his skin. Luke Willoughby, I believe there was an Iranian teenage amateur wrestler who was executed by the Iranian government. Okay. I guess that makes I just haven't heard that built into a fucking culture war narrative, so I was unfamiliar with that one. Whoa! What?
Like power plant?
That's the craziest looking dude I've ever seen. They done got a cast member from Monsters vs. Aliens. Look at this man. Look at the proportions of this dude's head.
I just want to note, I spoke to an Iranian who fled since the war who says Iranian citizens are very worried. They could be worse off than before if that happens. Their infrastructure is gone and the IRGC is still in control. What do you think?
I think a couple of things, Pamela. One is, does that infrastructure have a dual use? And obviously,
like this guy is on another level. Usually you got to ask why the long face, but I'm so impressed. I just have to ask how the long face, how such long face?
Could that infrastructure be used by the military? And if the answer to those questions are yes, which I think they are, then
he looks like Glenn Greenwald, more like Glenn Greenlong with this guy.
They're within the purview of the United States attacking there. But again, let's see what the president has to say later this afternoon. I'm sure he will give us new information, and hopefully the Iranians will come to their senses and come to the table.
That's crazy. Oh my God. Okay.
You could call it a military operation.
I'm so fucking tired. Like, why is there not a War Powers Act happening right now? Republicans see Trump's threats against Iran as leverage. Democrats see war crimes. My big theory currently why the Democrat Party isn't going after Trump is they are additionally trying to lay the groundwork for, they want to have as clear as possible a DNC road to the White House for the next election. And I think they are doing it, currently they are working, again, like I was talking about, more people have given a shit and talked about Hassan than any of the shit we're seeing right now. More Dem Party influencers, more Dem Party people, more fucking op-eds. I've seen more shit talk about how, oh, Hassan is driving anti-Semitism. Hassan's doing this. And Hassan is like Nick Fuentes, if you really think about it. Meanwhile, they're fucking sitting on their hands for this war power shit. And I truly think why they're doing it is because they want Trump to keep fucking it up. At their core, I think the Democrat establishment wants Trump to be murdering civilians. I think the people on Capitol Hill want Trump to fuck this up so seismically bad it will ostracize all but the most craven sociopaths, which is, just so happens, basically the only people he's surrounded himself with. But I genuinely think, like, yeah, if you ask yourself, oh, do you think Trump, or do you really think that Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, that they would willingly sacrifice thousands of people in a foreign country? Yes. I don't even need to know what they're sacrificing them for. Yes. Absolutely. Chuck Schumer, Mr. fucking Israel is our best ally. All these people who've spent the last couple years decrying any kind of Palestinian, pro-Palestinian movements as anti-Semitic, trying to get quote-unquote Jew hatred banned. Yes, absolutely. They would let 10,000, 100 million brown people die. And at the end of the day, for people like them, it is icing on the cake of being able to pull ahead by a couple more points in a fucking election. People, like, the Democrats in the last 20 years were an integral part of manufacturing consent that got us into Afghanistan, that got us into Iraq. Just because they are the opposition party to Trump doesn't mean that, A, they're actually opposing much of anything, and B, doesn't make them the fucking good guy. All right, give me 1 second, chat. All right, sorry about that. Sorry about the dog, everybody. Lip readers give us the inside scoop. Nothing. I've been getting rid of a lot of, I've just been sizing down on shit again, and getting rid of a lot of magic cards and stuff. And I just got a call from a store about how much credit they want to give me. All right, chat. Thermonuclear levels of dog goes bark. I am sorry about that. Oh my god. In vaguely good news, slightly good news. Where's Miss? Where is Miss? Miss is sunning herself. She is laying in the sun. The Artemis 2 cruise nears epic lunar flyby set to push deeper into space than any human before. Humanity's first journey to the moon since 1972 will be a non-stop 6-hour flyby following the same figure-8 path that Apollo 13 previously took. Take 4 days for the astronauts to return home. The capsule will aim for a splashdown in the Pacific Ocean near San Diego, 9 days after its Florida launch. Makes closest approach to moon during blackout and key milestone. Jesus Christ. That's, God, that's crazy. At their nearest point, the crew is approximately 4,000 miles from the moon's surface. Hey, you. You are fine. You are so annoying, dog. Hey, yeah. Did I see Project Hail Mary? I did not. I have not yet. I haven't been... I went to go see... I was going to do another movie review because there was this dog shit Christian nationalist film that came out over Easter weekend called The Great Awakening, or A Great Awakening. And it was just bad. Like, not interesting bad. It was just bad. Like, it was just, like, incredibly boring and bland and sanitized. And, like, it is propaganda, but it's not... I don't know, if it's not interesting for me to pick apart in any way, it's just going to become another movie that, you know, nobody fucking sees or cares about. It's not controversial. It's not crazy enough to be like, yo, you got to fucking look at this shit. Like Disciples in the Moonlight or the Jesus MMA movie that I reviewed last year. Oh yeah, there's a game for you I saw somehow showing off the first-person Jesus simulator. So I have, not the first-person Jesus simulator, I have I Am Jesus Christ, or is it Jesus? I don't fucking remember. There are a couple video games like that. I did get that, I wanted to say it was delisted. Yeah, here we go. PlayStation delisted Jesus store from the PS Store. Oh, okay. Jesus the Journey launched last week. Yeah, that was the one. Thousands of cash grabs. Some of the games include Jesus Simulator. Yes, that was, so that is the video. Or that's the game I have, which we will have to at some point play that later. We are going to, who do we want to raid? Because I have to get out of here. I have a previous engagement tonight. Let's raid. I guess Cirrus is up and about. Let's do, you know what? Maple Takes is just getting started. And it looks like they're covering a lot of the same stuff, so that'll be good. Just take care of yourself, everybody. And really quick, before we go on the raid, channel stuff happening in the next few days. I have 2 pieces I've been working on, one of which will be focusing on, one of which will be an interview with Louise Weird, the director of the Castration movie anthology. If you are a fan of underground cinema or art movies, you are probably familiar with them. That interview I will hopefully have out tomorrow. And then the day after, I have a piece I'm working on about the kind of sex worker scandal that is happening with people being suspended after criticizing the OnlyFans founder who died, having their accounts completely wiped. And talking, I spoke to 2 performers who are familiar with the situation, and it's just going to be a piece really talking about representation in sex worker spaces and how hopefully we can get the ball rolling on some kind of, like, what does it look like and what do we need for worker rights and worker representation in this very decentralized industry. So I interviewed 2 people for that. That will hopefully be out Thursday or Friday. So if y'all enjoy my stuff, please like, follow, subscribe, share all the videos and everything. And with that, let's go over to